everybody. Thank you so much for joining us. My name is Joni Ogg, and on behalf of travelprofessionalnews.com, homebasedtravelagent.com, and findahosttravelagency.com, I would love to welcome all of you to today's webinar, and I do appreciate you taking time out of your busy days to join us. Now, today's topic is Destination Morocco, your fam trip questions answered. This is the third webinar we've done with Destination Morocco, and all of them have been just fantastic. So I know you're in for a very good presentation, and I'm excited to welcome them back to our virtual stage. Our speaker is Azdine El Mustakim, the co-founder of Destination Morocco. Just remember, folks, you are muted, but we do welcome and encourage your questions at any time. You just type those in the questions area that you see on the right-hand panel of your screen. And when the presentation is all over, we're going to take as many questions as we're able to. Now, today, one very lucky attendee is going to win a $50 Amazon gift card from Travel Professional News, and we're going to be awarding that prize at the end of the webinar today. So I'm going to go ahead and turn the microphone over to our speaker so that he can get started. Welcome, Azdine. It's great to have you back.
Thank you so much, Joni. Glad to be back, and thank you to the travel advisors for joining us for our last webinar of the series. We are super excited to have you here. And today, basically, we're just going to talk about everything fam trip. It's an 8-day itinerary, and I will be answering all questions that you have, either about the fam trip, either about the destination, Morocco as a destination, the cultures, any type of questions that you have, I would love to answer them for you today. So the fam trip that we have is basically from November 10th through the 17th of 2024 for this year. So we're going to have other FAMs, 2025, obviously 2026. And this package includes, it's one person, and the rate is $19.95 USD for double occupancy. The package rate for single occupancy is $2,545 USD. Now, the FAM trip, keep it in mind, is for travel advisors only. So we'll go to the next slide, and basically what's included in the FAM trip. You have 24-hour support from us in destination in Morocco, from our office in Morocco. Then you have a certified private driver. So you have your current driver available to you. This is very different and very unique because a lot of companies, they'll say, hey, you'll have your driver until 11 p.m. After 11 p.m., we'll start charging you a different rate. We don't do that. So then you have a tour leader. A tour leader is different than a local guide and a different than national guide. So the tour leaders, also they are called mountain guide, if you would. And they are trained they have to basically finish a marathon to be called tour leaders. The reason is because they're going to be with you from the start of the tour until the finish of the tour. And they should be able to run just in case if there's an emergency and you're in the desert, you're in the mountains and things like that. So they'll be able to run to the nearest city. So that's what they are called, tour leaders. Now, a national guide is different. National guide is a guide, but certified to be with you throughout your tour. The tour leader can be with you in the car, but cannot show you the city, like example Marrakesh or Chefchaouen, but you'll get local guides to do that for you. So that's basically really the difference between a national guide, a tour leader, and a local guide. Then you'll have a meet and greet at the airport. Arrival and departure are included. Then obviously your local guides, and you have 7-night accommodation, either a hotel or a riad, depending on the number of travelers. So if the group is a mid-size, we don't have a choice but to go to a hotel. If it's 12 and below, we can do a riad, except in Casablanca where there's no riads, just hotels. Then you have 7 breakfasts included. Well, lunch in Fes, which we have shown the areas where we do lunch on the first webinar. Then the second, which is the Menebehi Palace in Fes. Then you have one dinner in Marrakesh, which also have shown at the I think it was the first webinar at Safran Restaurant in Marrakesh. And then we have availability that we can do. If you like different restaurants, we can do that as well. So, and obviously have water in the car as well. So now, for this fam trip, all the entrance fees are included, and it makes it so much easier to have the entrance fees included because you don't want to be at the site and looking to book and be in a line and all that stuff. It just saves you time and money. So in Casablanca, the Hassan II Mosque is included. In Volubilis, the Roman ruin city is included. In Fes, you have a Najjarin Museum is included. Madrasa Bu'naniya is included. Then Funduq Najjarin is included as well. And then in the last stop, before we depart to Casablanca in Marrakesh, you have the Majorel Garden, Bahia Palace, and Ben Yusuf Madrasa. Now, keep in mind, Hassan II Mosque, I'll talk a little bit about it. When you go inside, it's you pay and you go. Normally it costs about $15 for the guide. And then if you just want to do outside, you can just be outside, taking pictures outside with the sunset or anything like that. You know, it's free. There's no cost to it. So just keep that in mind. So here, basically day one, when you arrive to Casablanca airport, it depends what time you arrive. Let's say you arrive early morning, 8, 10. Basically what we do is we take you to your hotel, get a little bit of rest, then we come back for you in the afternoon, and then we take you for the 2:30 or 3 p.m. Mosque visit. Now they change the time depending on summertime versus winter time, and also if it falls on a Friday, which is a holiday or not. So that's something we do look into as well. So if you arrive in the morning, that's basically what we do. And then nighttime, or I would say a little bit later during the day, you can't do the site visit inside the mosque, but you can still do a sunset outside the mosque. Just just walk, take pictures and stuff like that. Then we take you for dinner in the Corniche of Casablanca, in the coastal side of Casablanca, which is really, really nice. Now, if you arrive late, let's say 4 p.m. or so, 2 p.m., then we cannot really do the mosque visit that day, but it's going to be done on the next day. But we still can take you to sightseeing, a sunset at the mosque, and then dinner in the coastal side of Casablanca as well. So this is day one when you arrive to the airport. So now you have day two. Day two includes Casablanca. If we don't do it the first day, this is basically going to be the starting day really for you. We do Casablanca, Rabat, and Chefchaouen. Now between Casablanca and Rabat, it's about an hour and 15, an hour and 30 minutes. Then between Rabat and Chefchaouen, it's about 4 hours. So then, like we talked in the last webinar, the site visit for the Casablanca Mosque normally takes about 30 to 45 minutes. Then if you want to do something you don't need the guide for, you can also do the museum. They have a museum located on the right-hand side of the mosque. You can do it as well. And you just pay and it's self-serve basically. So the whole site, will take you maybe an hour and a half. Then you head to Rabat. Now, when we go to Rabat, this is Hassan Tower. The good thing about Rabat, most of the monuments are next to each other. Hassan Tower, the Museum, Mohammed V, they're next to each other. They just walking distance. This is a really vast area. You can do a lot of walking. You can take a lot of pictures, especially when it's nice and sunny. It's beautiful, beautiful. Here, you can see the people that travel with us, and this is basically Ali, our local guide. He did an amazing job. The other thing that I want to talk about, just touch base with a little bit, and we can talk about it a little bit more on later slides when we get to Volubilis, are these pillars. These pillars are believed to be brought from Volubilis when the earthquake hit Lisbon, Portugal, back in the 18th century, specifically 1755. So it really damaged the Volubilis tremendously. So people start, looting stuff to Mekinas, looting stuff to different cities, and they brought these pillars here to Rabat. So the next stop basically is the Udaya, which is the ancient Kasbah of Udaya. And again, this is our tour guide Ali, and he's showing me basically the old Medina, the new Medina, and the location of the Uday. It's really, really nice. It's very beautiful. You cannot really miss it. And this one is a little bit of a drive. So your driver will bring you here, then you do a little bit of walk, you go inside the gates, and it's marvelous. And the site right here should take about 30 minutes, and it's definitely worth it. And then he shows us the river really that divides Rabat city, which is the capital and imperial city, and then the small city of Salah or Saleh. So the next stop we have is Muhammad Sak, the mausoleum. And as you can see it from here, this is the outside. Basically, we are inside the, that area where you visit. And before that, you go through the gate and you'll see the royal guards on horses. You can take pictures. They don't mind. They're really cool with it. And then you can see here, there's so many places that you can take pictures. Beautiful. The structure is magnificent. It's the picture doesn't do really justice. It's really, really beautiful, especially if you want to go inside. Also, when you go up the stairs, you can see them on the left-hand side. You can still see some royal guards. Again, you can take pictures. They're very gracious, and the inside is just, it's marvelous. Now, this one, sometimes it's closed to the public because when, there's other politicians, dignitaries from other countries, they come and visit, it's closed. Or when the king comes and pays his respect to his father and grandfather, it's closed to the public. So the next slide that we're going to have is day 3. Now, day 3 is Chefchaouen, and basically we've talked about Chefchaouen. Chefchaouen is a beautiful, beautiful small city located in the mountains of the Rif Mountains, and you can see in the backdrop the Rif Mountains. They're very rugged, they're very hard, very difficult, and they're very different than the Atlas Mountains or the anti-Atlas Mountains. So they're very rugged mountains. In Chefchaouen, it's a really, really laid-back city. The people are very hospitable. The food is just incredible. The food is infused with the Spanish flair, with the Spanish twist, and it's a combination of Moroccan and Spanish. So this is a very famous square. This is a lot of people come here and it gets very busy. The shops are open and it gets busy, especially at nighttime. So the next slide that we're going to have, which is day 4. So day 4, again, it's going to be, you're going to have Chefchaouen, Volubilis, Meknès, and Fès. So the drive from Chefchaouen to Volubilis, maybe 2.5 hours, 3. Then you have Volubilis to Meknès, about 1.5 hours, 2 hours. Then Meknès to Fès, which is about 45 minutes to 1 hour. So they're kind of a little bit close to each other. But then I wanted you to look at this picture right here. I want to say a few things, if you would, please. On the right hand side, you see some arches. Then there's the second one to the left is the Triumph Arch. Then you have the next to the one to the left, the last one, that's the Basilica. It's kind of basically a temple, but we'll talk a little bit about them. So this is the importance of local guides, and we highly, highly recommend local guides. In Volubilis, they are there on site, but we book everything for you ahead of time. So there's 2 things that you can do here. They have the museum, Volubilis. This is the main entrance, but there's another main entrance on the left-hand side, but it's closed because of restoration and construction. So when you look at this, it just looks like, rocks and stones. And basically, if you go visit it by yourself, that's exactly what you're going to see. But then when you have a local guide explaining everything to you, then you'll get the stories behind the scene and, the families, the Roman families that lived here for 2,000 years, their way of life. You'll see it's very interested, it's very intricate, it's a lot of fun. So and each place has a story to tell, and stories to tell, if you would. And we were very lucky. Khalid was our local guide, and he did an outstanding job explaining everything to us. So these are the 4 most important sites to see in Volubilis. Most of the time you'll get to Volubilis during midday, and depending on the time of year you're visiting, summertime can be really harsh. So make sure you're dressed accordingly. Make sure you're covering your head. The sun is it's very very hot. It gets really, really hot. So the next slide that we're going to have, this is basically the one that we talked about earlier. This is the temple. And as you can see, in the backdrop of it, you can see mountains and mountains to the left-hand side. So these pillars here, from the left-hand side, those are the mountains where they brought these stones to build Volubilis. And Volubilis, it's also called Walili in Arabic, and it's in the Amazigh or the Berber language, it means flower. So that's what Volubilis means. So the Volubilis, when it was built on a hill. Vegetation is very important. The Romans, the Italians, they olive oil means so much to them. The fertile land means a lot to them. And this is just one part of it. Now, the one that what you see here in the middle, that's a sacrifice area, but it's only like the Mayans, they have the sacrifice, but it's only for animals, no humans. So this is very, very important. And well, I'll go to the next slide. So this is the second one. So this is, again, the pictures don't do justice. The pictures are really, really good, but they don't do justice. Once you're there, it's amazing, amazing. And again, you can still see the effect of the earthquake that hit back in 1755. You see the original stones, there's no cement in between them. It was just one on top of the other. It was just perfectly built. And then after the earthquake, they had to do reconstruction, restorations, and this is what it looks today. So it's definitely worth it. There's a lot of things to see and do, and this is the arc of the Triumph Arc. So it's worth the visit. Look at the thickness of the wall. It's just it's magnificent. And again, you can see there's a lot of people, but everybody's in the shade because it's really, really hot. I remember that day very vividly. So the whole site from A to Z should take you about an hour and 15 minutes. Now, if you want to do, for example, the museum, I did it, and it took me I would say 30 minutes to 45 minutes as well, because I wanted to see everything. It's just you go through the readings, you go through the writings, the scriptures. It's beyond incredible, and yeah. So and again, we move from Voli Bilis to Meknes, and this is our guide to the left-hand side. This is Mr. Abdul Latif, super knowledgeable. I mean, he does speak very quick, but his wealth of knowledge is just beyond incredible. And when we visited, Meknes, it was a lot of monuments were under construction, restoration. This is one of them. This is basically the place where the King Mulay Ismail used to have his horses drink water. And you can see it here, a little bit of it. He had about 12,000 horses. So you can just imagine how big this water place is. So it's incredible. Um, uh, Abdul Latif gave us a lot of information about old downtown, the Medina, Meknes, the Jewish history. It was very, very important. So when we go to the next slide here, we get to Fas. This is day 5 in Fas, and we do a city tour. Fas is one of those cities you can spend maybe a month, 2 months in Fas and not see the same thing again. The same thing we say about Marrakesh, and rightfully so, because these are, they are worth the visit, and there's so much to offer. Fas is the oldest city. It's one of my favorite cities. And in downtown Medina of Fez, just imagine they have over 10,000 streets. So you can just imagine if you go on your own by yourself, you'll absolutely get lost. So again, I cannot really emphasize the importance of local guides. So you'll have local guides in all the major cities when you visit. So, and also Fas is very known for its very narrow streets. Um, you know, Sometimes you have to walk sideways for you to get from one street to the other. So the next slide we have is Fes, the Medina. So this is Medina, and we call Medina, which is old downtown. Like we talked about it, last webinar, we talked about, the blue color is the color of the city of Fes, and this is what you see. This is the gate. Fes, the gate of Fes to the Medina. You can see that it's blue. Now, when you go in, and make a U-turn, you'll see that the colors, the other side, it's a green, which is the color of Islam. So the same thing, when we look at the mosque in the middle, you can see that it's decorated with green, which is peace, and which is the Islamic color of the city of Fes. So the Medina is a must stop. Here, there's no cars. Basically, your driver will drop you off here, and then you walk with your local guide and explore the city. And there's so many things to see in downtown Fes, and things to do as well. So the next stop we're going to have, which is Madrasa Islam, Madrasa Bouanania. And again, the same thing. There's Madrasa Bouanania in Fas. There's Madrasa Bouanania, the same name in Meknes, and they almost look the same, similar. The same thing when we do Madrasa Ben Yusuf in Marrakesh. They're kind of similar built, but a little different. Madrasa Ben Yusuf, it looks a little bit newer, but this is the oldest one. So, and the marble that you see, that water fountain, it's the original water fountain from back when it was built. They don't let a lot of people all in in one time. And as you can see, a lot of people are exiting. There's people that you cannot see here, but they're just waiting their turns to come inside. So probably 20, 30 people will be inside at one point. When they leave, the next group will come in, just to keep it, uh, not too crowded. So you can visit here, and also you can go up. There's a second floor, and you can see those windows. Those are actually chambers. Those are where actually students used to learn basically Islam, about the religion, about the law, philosophy, and many other things. So we're gonna go to the next slide, basically, which is a must see. This is, if you're in Fes, you have to see the tanneries. The tanneries in Fes are the biggest in Africa. Now, there are other tanneries in Morocco, like in Marrakesh, but they're not as big. But the tanneries are normally related to scams. So be careful. Well, in this case, we're going to be with you, so you have nothing to worry about. So the tanneries, this is a really, really, really nice picture. I love it in many different ways because the background, you can see in the background, that's old downtown. This is back in the 9th century. It's very old, very nice. And then when we're going to look at this picture from the left to the right. So when we look at, on the left-hand side, you can see the white things with some liquid or water. It's basically that's a dye. That's the material that they use for the dye. When the skin comes in, that's the first stage that it goes through. Right here with the white things on the left hand side, and they soak it. Everything is organic. There's no added chemical. Everything is natural. So they soak it to remove the impurities from the skin, from the hide, and then it moves to the next stage, which is, and you can see these are different colors. You can see blue, you can see brown, you can see a little bit of yellowish, you can see some red. And here, basically, they spend a little bit more time. This is where they're dyeing the hide, basically. And people, you can see they come here, they start stamping on them, so that way the hide gets, the color gets through everything in the hide. So no spots are left behind, basically. And then on the third stage, you can see here also on the right hand side, you see a pile of hide that it's done. The process is complete, and now it has to be moved to the next stage, basically, which is right here on the right hand side. When you see these two guys just handling some hide, some leather and some hide, just hanging it that way, it dries, and it takes some time to dry completely. And as you can see here, next to our logo on the right hand side, that hide is complete. It's done. It's ready to be moved to the manufactory. So I mean, when you get here to the tanneries, I mean, the smell, everybody knows about the smell. It smells pretty bad, but they give you a little bit, coffee beans, mint leaves, just to soften that smell. And it's absolutely a must see when you visit Fes. So the next stop we have, you can do workshops, many things you can do. But in this itinerary for this fam trip, we have a ceramic workshop. And again, this is in Fes, and Fes, the clay is different. Look at the color of the clay. And we talked about the difference between the clay in Fes versus the clay in the rest of the Morocco. The rest of Morocco is kind of reddish, but this one is this way because it only exists in certain areas in the Reef Mountains. That's where they get it from. So we're gonna go, and it's gonna be basically day 6 for us. I wanted to show this picture also in ceramic, and this is the other side of the factory. So there's a place where you can, when they do classes, and there's a place where you can see everybody working, just creating, these are basically small tagines, which is really, really nice. And so day 6, basically, it's going to be moving from Fes to Marrakesh. So after your breakfast, your driver will take you to Marrakesh. So now the drive between Fes and Meknes depends on which way you go. If you go the highway, basically it'll take you about 6 hours. And then if you go this more scenic road, which is through the mountains, will take you about 9 hours. So, and again, it just depends on you, depends on the guest, on the traveler, which way they want. For me, I've been to the mountains, I've been through that road, so it was obviously I want to get to Marrakesh and explore Marrakesh as quick as I could. So now we're gonna go basically to day 7. So day 7, this is when you get to Marrakesh, and this is basically the square. It's always happening, it's always busy, and it gets more live around the sunset. So if you have a chance to spend some time in the sunset, I would say do it. Sit, a coffee shop, maybe a third level, fourth level, so you can really see it. You can see the Kutubia, you can see the change in the sky, and it's beautiful. Then you can see all those food stalls start to get ready. Then you see the smoke, the smell. It's just, it's gorgeous. It's beautiful, beautiful. So now we are in Marrakesh, and these are some of the places that you have to, not, you don't really have to, but we recommend Majorel Garden. So Majorel Garden uh, was bought by I believe back in 1926 by Mr. Majorel, and he kept this land for a long time, for decades. And at some point, back in the 50s and 60s, YSL, we Yves Saint Laurent was working with Dior, and they have some conflict. They told him that, hey, you're not really being creative in a way, and they were kind of not in good terms. So YSL came to Marrakesh for a vacation, and he fell in love with the city, with the colors. The city of Marrakesh, also we call it the Red City. It's gorgeous. It's beautiful. The bright colors, the yellow, the blue, the everything is just incredible. So basically what happened, at some point he bought the land from Mr. Majorel, and he kept it. And I remember I used to go to school and I used to pass by it, and it was closed for decades, and thank God he opened it to the public. So, and it's highly recommended. We make the reservations for you. You don't have to worry about anything. The site will take about 45 minutes. We did it. We recorded the podcast. Inside of it, it was amazing. I highly recommend it. So yeah, so it's yeah. So the next stop we're going to have is Kutubia Mosque. Now, if you look at the previous webinar that we did, I showed Kutubia Mosque and the closeness to it, to Jam' Al Fna Square. They're really close. It's just across the street, and then that's it. You go in. So now, when you look at the square, for example, cars are not allowed in certain times. It's only, you can only walk. No taxis. Well, the taxis are allowed the most, but public, they are not allowed. Public cars and stuff, they are not allowed. So even transportation companies, they are allowed at certain point, but I believe by 1 a.m., between 1 a.m. and 5 or 6, you cannot have any cars in the square. So in the vicinity of that square, just to give you an idea, the square of Jam' Al Fna, which is, by the way, a World Heritage Site since 1987, there's about 2,000 riyads, small riyads, big riyads, within it's really, really packed. When we book a riyadh for you, we make sure that it's very accessible, because some riyads, they are gorgeous, they are beautiful, but they're in terms of location, they are really bad, because you have to walk 15, 20, 30 minutes. And sometimes you cannot, we don't really recommend it. So this is the other side of the Kutubia Mosque. This is the back side of it, if you would. And you can see there's lush of gardens, trees, palm trees, obviously. And there's a lot of kids playing. And again, this was in July of last year, so it's very, very hot. And you can see there's a lot of kids, local families. So this is not really known to a lot of the tourists. So even though it's just in the back, but people don't think that, the back of the mosque looks like a parking lot, but you cross it and you're good. This is what you see. It's definitely worth it. It's very gorgeous, very, very beautiful. So the next slide that we're going to have is this is one of my favorites, the Bahia Palace. The Bahia Palace, this was a private palace. It was built back in the late 19th century. And where you can see, for example, on the right-hand side, you see chambers. Those are, if you would, a family lived here, and that's their rooms. And it's definitely worth it. This is, we had a visit. It was incredible. And again, look at the mosaic, the floor, the decoration, the wood, the plaster. It's just beyond incredible. The same thing that you see in Fas, in Meknes. When you look at the ceiling, when you look at, for example, Casablanca Mosque, it's the same thing. It's the intricate artistry is just second to none. It is absolutely worth it. In Marrakesh, there's so many places that you can visit, but we just chose these for this fam trip. So and then we're gonna, here we go. Oh, that's it. I guess I was moving too fast. So this is day 8, and basically this is the time that we transfer you from Marrakesh to Casablanca. So again, it depends on your time of departure. We can spend the night in Casablanca versus Marrakesh if you're leaving, for example, at 7 a.m. we'll get you a Riyadh or whatever hotel. Well, it's got to be a hotel in Casablanca. That way, you're not spending a lot of time just driving. So the drive is about 2.5 hours. But if you leave in, let's say 11, it's okay to stay in Marrakesh, spend the night in Marrakesh, have your breakfast, and then we'll take you to the airport in Casablanca. So this is it. This is the end of our presentation today. This is the way that you can get in touch with us. I highly recommend listening to our podcast. It will get you familiar with the culture, with everything in Morocco. We have over 80 episodes. We have close to 100,000 downloads. It's definitely worth it. I would love to get be part of your network. Please reach out to me. LinkedIn, I'm heavy on LinkedIn. I love LinkedIn, and you can in terms of Instagram, we have a lot of things on Instagram as well. You can see we are a little bit active on social media, and if you want to reach out to us, that's your agents at destinationsmorocco.com. That's your dedicated email. So you have your own email. That's when we see it, we know it's coming from a travel advisor, and we respond to it as quick as possible, quickly. Then we have our website, destinationsmorocco.com. That's destination with an S, morocco.com. And that's my cell phone. Reach out to me. I know in the last few days, I've been getting a lot of messages that a lot of people want to sell Morocco. They love the destination. They see it as exotic, beautiful. But the thing is, they don't know nothing about it. And I really I didn't know. I had no idea. So I would love to help. I would love to if you can get in touch. What I would like to do for you, if you have attended any of our webinars, I have your email. I will reach out to you. It's going to take me some time, but I want you to sell the destination. It's you'll make a lot of money, and it's easy money to make. You don't have to lift a finger. We do everything for you from A to Z. So I will have a folder with you that I will share that it's going to have videos. The videos are going to be vertical, and you can share them in your social media platforms, especially reels on Instagram, reels on TikTok, or shorts on YouTube. Then we'll have a folder for the pictures. The pictures will be, some of them will be vertical. We don't have a lot of vertical, but the other ones, they will be just horizontal, which is big, and you can just basically just resize them if you would. If we use Canva quite a bit, we use other social media platforms, so it's easy to resize those pictures. So this should help you. And again, if you need more help, just reach out. We can do one-on-one. If you're a travel agent, independent, we would love to work with you. If you work with an agency and you see the value in us, please recommend us. We can be a part of their suppliers. We're here to work for you. We're here. We are an extension of you. We want to do business with you. We would love to help you sell Morocco. And thank you so much for attending the webinar. It's been a lot of fun, Joni. I can't thank you enough for this webinar. And I remember the first one we did back in 2020. It was a lot of fun. So I'm
Awesome.
here for you.
Yeah, they have been
Yeah.
great. Enjoyed your pictures so much. They just,
Thank you.
just brings back wonderful memories. It's a beautiful, beautiful place. We do have some questions if you have time to answer those.
I would love
First
to.
one, good. Okay. The first one is a good question. Is there a dress code at the mosque?
Oh, that's a really good question. Remember when I did that webinar and we showed Casablanca, and we showed the mosque, and the mosque, that picture, it showed Max, which is one of our clients. She went with her friend Jamie, and you can see she's wearing a sleeveless shirt, and you can see some people are covering their hands, some people are don't. So the mosque, it's very respectful. When you don't have to just put something around your head, and you can dress up however, just no skin showing on the legs, like a long dress is good, or pants are good, or jeans. And even you can see us when we visited, most of us were wearing jeans. So and then when you go in, they give you a little bag where you can put your shoes, and you can do whatever you want. And that picture, again, I'll talk about it with Max. She was taking pictures, and when they did not let us take pictures. So when we did the episode, because we went inside and we were recording a podcast episode, me and Khalil, the blind guide, because they saw our equipment, and then we had to kind of trick them. But we ended up recording the podcast episode, and it was amazing. Yeah. So
Okay, great. Thank you. Great answer. Let's see. What would the weather be like this time of year?
This time, right now, this is one of the best times to visit Morocco in terms of weather. Now, the weather fluctuates whether you're in the south, the mid, which is Marrakesh area, or Fas, the north area, because the temperature in early morning, I would say it's mid 60s, then it gets mid 70s during the day, then it gets a little bit mid 60s again. So I will highly recommend, if you're traveling between now and November or so, the temperature drops at nighttime, and in the morning it's a little bit cold as well. Not cold, but it's nice and breezy.
Sounds perfect. All right. During the trip, will there be any free time, or would that be not recommended? And they're also asking, are there camel rides that anybody could participate in?
That's a really good question. When we build this fam trip is a little different. No, you'll have time because we used to build itineraries that the whole day is packed, and basically people at the end of the tour they get really tired. So basically, we plan half of the day or most of the day, but we leave you with other things that you can do and stuff like that. So for the fam trip, now if it's a group tour or if it's a private tour, then basically you really dictate what to do and what to see. Everything we do is on your terms. We just build it for you. We make it a reality for you. So, and if
Okay.
you, yeah, if a lot of people they like to do something the first half of the day, then they want to do stuff on their own on the second half. Then they want us to come back and pick them up, take them to dinner, and come back to their Riyadh. So, and that's
Perfect.
really that. Yeah, exactly. Yes.
Sounds like a perfect plan. Another question, kind of along the similar lines, but are there any wellness activities that you build into these?
Oh yes, we can do it. We can do yoga class. You can do it in Riyadh. You can do it outside. You can do it in hotels. There's yeah, definitely, absolutely, yes. Yeah.
Okay, that sounds like a great, a great
Yes.
event. I'd love to do that.
You know,
All right.
I'm sorry,
So,
Joanna, I
oh, go ahead.
apologize. The other question was, the second part of it was if they want to do a camel ride. So
Right.
now, if you look at this itinerary, it doesn't have the southern part of Morocco. The reason is when we get an inquiry about Morocco, I always ask if it's the first time for you traveling to Morocco and how many days do you have? If it's your first day, first time traveling to Morocco, I highly recommend the imperial cities, which is this tour. Basically, you'll get to see Rabat is imperial city, Meknes is imperial city, Fas is imperial city, Marrakesh is imperial city. So this tour I would definitely recommend to the travelers that are visiting Morocco for the first time. Now, let's
Okay.
say you visited Morocco for the first time, but instead of you having 8 days, you have 10 days, you have 12 days. Then we can do a combination of the north side of Morocco, then the south side of Morocco, and it would include the desert. It will include the camel ride, and if you don't want to do the camel ride, you can do a quad. They'll take you from the Riyadh to the camp, or we can do a 4x4, which will take you from the Riyadh again to the camp. So, and if you spend a little bit more time in the desert, we can do activities with the nomads, with the locals, and so much stuff to do. Yeah.
Okay. How often do you offer these FAMs?
Well, I would say this one, it's probably too late to make it happen for this year, but we still have space, we still have availability. But I'm thinking doing the same thing the same time next year, November, which is around before Thanksgiving. So
Okay. Yeah, that's good planning. That's helpful
yeah,
for planning purposes.
yes, yeah.
All right. And then I think the last question I have before we do the prize giveaway is someone's asking about slides being available after the webinar. And just to let everybody know, we do record all of our webinars. So about 24 hours, you will receive anybody that's on here today or registered for it. You will receive an email from us that'll give you the link to see the recordings again. As to the slides, I'd have to let you answer that one, Asdeen.
Yes, the slides. I'm not really that tech savvy, and I do apologize. Let me see because I created it in Canva. Normally, this itinerary we have it on Travelify, and also we have it on Travelify Marketplace. The name is different, the price is different, obviously, but it's the exact identical. So, but also I can send it to you in terms of Travelify link, and I'll see how I can do to send it to you, the presentation itself, just the way that it's made here. Yes. Yeah,
Okay.
definitely.
So I would just say, folks, if you are interested in getting that sort of information from him, you would just need to reach out directly to him. We can't send that through, but we can certainly suggest that I mean, he's been great about giving you all his contact information. So just reach out to Asdeen. I'm sure he can answer to your questions about anything about this, fam, which sounds absolutely fantastic. It's been great. So I'm going to go ahead and do the question. And this is a really good question, but it's the right answer should be pretty easy for everybody because everybody on here should be uh, somebody that qualifies. So the question is, who is the fam trip for? We're going to take the 10th answer that is correct. Go. All right. We have a winner, and the winner is uh, the answer is travel advisors only. And the winner is Cassia Matthews. Cassia, congratulations. You've also asked some great questions today, so we do appreciate your participation in the webinar as well. That's very, very helpful. So we are all good. Cassia, you can plan on receiving an email from Amazon that will come from Travel Professional News and from me. So you will get your $50 Amazon gift card to do some pre-Christmas shopping if you would like. And everybody, this has been great. I can't thank you enough, as Dean. I'm going to be sad. This is our last one that looks
I
like
know,
this year. So
I know.
hopefully we'll do some more with you next year. It's been
Thank
a
you,
wonderful experience, and your
thank you,
photos and
thank
your
you,
knowledge about your destination is
thank you,
absolutely spectacular, and I know appreciated by us, and I know appreciated by everybody that's been able to participate. So
thank
thank
you.
you for
Of
that.
course,
Um,
absolutely.
I'll let you say your goodbyes, and then we'll go ahead and
Yes.
close this one out.
Yes, I really cannot thank you enough, travel advisors. B2B is new to us. We have done B2C for quite some time. We really want to work with you. We really want to help you. We want to do the legwork for you. Destination Morocco as a destination, it's beautiful. It is gorgeous. It's thousands of years of layers and layers of history. We are the second most popular destination in Africa after Egypt. Um, we have so much to offer, in terms of UNESCO World Heritage Sites. We have so many, about 19 or so. It's just amazing. It's incredible. We want to work with you. If you need any help in any way, in any content, any shape or form, please reach out. I know this is we're looking for the long-term relationship because um, I didn't know that a lot of people were not familiar with Morocco, and I feel kind of silly, but I would like to make you more familiar with Morocco. If you need me again, one-on-one, we can do one-on-one. If you have your own, agency, you want to do a presentation or a Facebook or anything, I'm here for you. So, and again, like I said, Joni, I'm very grateful for you. It has always been a pleasure. I cannot really thank you enough for everything that you have done for us and things that you have done for me personally. So, and this is going to be a lot of fun, and I'm looking forward to it. It's going to take me some time to put all those creatives together in terms of videos and images, but I will have them for you at some point next month. And thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Asdeen. Wonderful. And you have a wonderful company, and you guys definitely believe and love what you do, and we can all feel it. So thank you for being
My
here with
pleasure.
us today, everybody. Thanks for taking time out of your day again, and we will see you next time around. Have a good one, everybody. Bye
Thank
bye.
you. Bye bye.